All righty, beautiful. So grateful as always to be here with you all. And today is December 23rd in the Northern Hemisphere. We have just rolled through the winter solstice. I know there's some of you here that are catching this in the Southern Hemisphere, in which case you have just rolled through your summer solstice. This is a bit of a winter solstice oriented theme today. So pardon me for my Northern Hemispheric orientation, if that's not relevant. And today's class is called Be the Light, which in truth is relevant no matter where we are and is so needed in this world. So we are really going to create some space today to connect to that theme of light and whatever else ties into that for you. This doesn't mean that we ignore or deny the pain that is certainly inevitably around us and in our world right now. It is very, very clear. And it is very much about taking a little bit of a respite into an opportunity to touch joy, perhaps, right? What would that be like, just to give ourselves permission to be a little joyful for the next 75 minutes or so? How does that sound? And yeah, I got some thumbs up on that, like ready for that. We'll be working with a little bit of mantra and arm movements and blocking the light and letting the light in but as we ooh, we got a little bit of feedback again. Let me fix that. I know how to fix that. Okay. All right. What happened again? So as we play with our movements and these opening structures, I really just invite you to envision that our side bodies and our armpits and our shoulders and our arms and our hands and our fingers are conduits of light, really allowing that to be this interface between you and the world. And really I think of the arms so often as the extension of our hearts, and it's the way that we give and it's the way that we receive. And that quality of being kind of able to share our light with the world, which again is so intensely needed by our world, and to also feel so deeply nourished and that receptive quality, allowing all of that light in. I will share a few quotes. I have a poem chosen, and then we'll dive into our movement together. This first quote is actually from the dedication of the book Therapeutic Yoga for Trauma. And I brought it here today because it feels relevant. It feels relevant. So in the dedication, I write that this is in gratitude to the teachers that have illuminated a path of the heart. I will forever be a student. In dedication to my students who trust me to be your guide. Together, we courageously shine our light into the darkness to make this world a brighter place. And continuing from that same book, it is my greatest hope that these practices will help you connect to the wisdom that resides within your body, mind, and heart. May this guided journey support you to cultivate a reliable felt sense of ease and equanimity that radiates from your inner light out to the world. So I invite you, no matter where you are in the world, to invite this light in, to call it back to you Call in your precious life force, the prana, your power, and your aliveness. And here is our poem for the day. This poem is called How the Light Comes. And I've chosen this poem because sometimes that's where we get stuck. It's not that the light doesn't exist, it's always there for us. But we can get stuck in not knowing how to allow it, let it in, trust that it's there, find it. And that's what this poem is about. And again, How the Light Comes, and it's by Jan Richardson. I cannot tell you how the light comes. What I know is that it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten, or in peril, or in pain, that it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way toward flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth through the eye, the hand, the heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does, that it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that enfolds you. Though it may seem long ages in coming, or arrive in a shape you did not foresee. And so may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces to let it find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc that it makes. May we open and open more and open still to the blessed light that comes. And with that as our intention for today, I'm going to shift onto my mat. I will invite you to find your way into your space if you're joining for the movement portion of practice, and to also know that it is always completely acceptable to rest, to receive, to do any part of the practice, to drop any part of the practice that does not serve you. And as we make our way into practice, I'm going to sit just slightly closer for our starting moment here. We're going to start with some pranayama. And in particular, we'll start with alternate nostril pranayama. And we're going to do this in two forms. So those of you that were with me in the Tuesday vagal toning class, this will feel a little familiar because we did a little bit of this just a few days ago. So I'm going to speak both forms first. You can stay with form number one, which is slow alternate nostril pranayama. If you want to join for the second one, we're going to do 2 short rounds of rapid Kapalabhati alternate nostril pranayama, which is going to look and sound like this. Now, this time I did come prepared with a tissue, and you might need one as well. So just knowing that it's helpful to have some clear nostrils for that part of the practice, for both of these. And the slow rhythmic alternate nostril pranayama, which is where we are going to start, we use the right hand to alternate through the nostrils, using thumb to close off right nostril. We inhale through left. We switch it out by taking fingers, either your middle finger or your ring finger can be used to close off the left nostril, and we'll exhale out the right. We'll inhale right, we switch the hand, we exhale left. It's pretty self-explanatory, and I'll guide you through the first round. When we get into the rapid alternate nostril pranayama, that Kapalabhati, don't worry so much about trying to think too much about which nostril I'm breathing in and out of, because you really just can't when you get to that. You're just going to allow yourself to go into a little bit more of a sped up version of the first one. Okay. So we'll go ahead and begin with the slow alternate nostril. And as we do so, or before we do so, take just a moment. You know my invited theme here today, which is about calling back the light, letting the light in, allowing for this. And you might have your very own intention, what brought you here, what inspired you to show up. And you take a moment. What is it that you would like to call back in? What is it that you are needing to cultivate perhaps more of? And what is it that you're needing to let go of on either side of that equation? Fine tuning your intention, your why, what brought you to here today. And we'll anchor that in with breath, using your right thumb, closing off right nostril, inhaling through left. And switching, exhaling right. Inhaling right. And exhaling left. I'll guide another of those, inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Finding another round, your own timing, starting with the inhale on the left. I'll let you do this on your own. And either staying with that slow rhythmic breath, or perhaps palm over navel, calling in your intention, and a short round here, alternate nostril, pranayama fast. Inhaling both nostrils. Exhale, let that go. Back to slow alternate nostril pranayama, inhaling left. Exhaling right. Your own rhythm. And either staying with that slow alternate nostril or one more round, fast pranayama. Inhaling through both nostrils. And exhale, let it go. Beautiful. And I'm going to share with you a little bit of breath with some movement of your arms. Just let all of that pranayama move through you, the energy, the prana, the life force, the light, the joy, whatever got inspired. And we're going to just integrate that with a little bit of what we'll call the circle of joy in our arms, starting with hands at prayer center. And then interlace your hands. Exhale, press your palms forward. Inhale, palms up overhead. Exhale, hands reach behind, clasping. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, release your hands to heart center. Inhale here. Exhale, pressing palms forward. Inhale overhead. Exhale, hands to clasp. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, palms to heart center. One more round through. Inhale here. Exhale, pressing forward. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands clasp. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, palms touch. Receive, returning to your intention, sensing your aliveness, the precious gift. Beautiful. And from here, I'm sliding a little further back onto my mat. We're going to do some spinal movements and allowing yourself just to integrate all of that prana into the spine, into your body. So we'll start with some circular movements, upper body around your legs, inhaling forward, exhaling back. And with everything that I offer, remember, you always have choice, opt in, opt out, modify, make it right for you. You can keep the circles super small. You can go with a wider range. Going in the opposite direction. I like to inhale as I come forward, exhale as I round back, a nice opportunity to draw in with the abdominal muscles, massaging across your digestive organs. Good. Few more here. And then through to center. And then here's rocking forward and back across your sits bones. Can feel nice to have hands on shins, ankles, heart forward. Exhale, drawing the back of your heart backward. Your pace, your rhythm, your range of motion. Good. And same movement in the spine. We'll bring the arms into the mix. First here with robin's breath, hands to shoulders, drawing elbows together in front of your heart. Inhale, shoulders broaden, maybe lift your chin. Exhale, maybe you tuck your chin. Hmm. It can be nice even to exhale out your mouth. Sound. Maybe you stick your tongue out, add in lion's breath. Chance to let go of anything that's not serving you. We make more space for the light to come in. And then inhale, I'll invite you to open your arms wide like giant wings fanning your body. Fresh energy, fresh prana. Expand. Maybe you press your palms firmly together on the exhale. And one more time. And then new movement here, arms simply lifting up overhead, and exhale, sweeping down by your sides. Again, like giant wings, bringing light, air, space. And we'll take our winged arms from side to side, very simple. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, twisting to the right. Let your hands release. Inhale, you can sweep, maybe gaze follows. Exhale to the left side. Opening, closing. Once again, finding your rhythm. And as always, the invitation is to follow what feels good, to really know that growth can come in alongside joy and pleasure. It doesn't always have to be hard work. Hmm. Integrating side to side. And the next time we go to the right, I'll invite you to pause there. Maybe hook your left hand on top of your right knee. You might gaze behind you if that's comfortable on your neck. And we'll take this into a little side body lean. So hooking your right knee with left hand, you might free your right arm up off the floor and begin to descend left shoulder towards left knee. And your range of motion here is going to be unique to your body. Follow and listen, and you're greeting right side body. Maybe your arm reaches further overhead, opening the intercostals. I think of them as the windows to the heart. And then inhale, lifting up on this side, sweeping arms through center. And you guessed it, taking that all to the left. So we pause for a moment, right hand hooking left knee if that's available, finding length of your spine. Maybe you gaze behind. And then keeping that connection hand to knee, you might free your left arm up. You might lean towards the right shoulder towards right knee. Left arm can come overhead. You might gaze up or down. Make this yours. Maybe your arm reaches further toward the crown of your head, breathing into your side body. You can wiggle inside of any of these shapes, again, making them yours. And then coming back through to center. Ah, good. And right leg, a lot of you are familiar with these routines. We rotate into right ankle, each direction, around your right knee, greeting the joints of your lower body. Some large circles of your right leg. Maybe you take hold, hand to knee, hand to foot, each direction. And then we're going to take this into deer. So swinging your right leg back, right knee towards left foot, and turning toward your left. Got enough warmth in here now. Just turning towards your left and back out. So you can feel your way into right hip flexor. You can lift and lower off the floor. You can keep your hand more grounded towards your hip, or you might lift your right arm overhead. I find for me that that begins to awaken sensation in the right psoas as well. And we do so gently, lovingly, nothing forced. Gorgeous. One more breath here. And then as we come back to center, I'll invite you to take your right leg up and over your left. So we're going to stack the knees. It's a little hard to see in my black pants, but right knee above left. And that might be quite lifted, or they might stack quite comfortably or uncomfortably. Right? You can flex through both feet if you like. So we're in what we call Gomukhasana legs here, and that position is a hip opener, perhaps. You might sense that. We're in a closed hip position. And we're going to take a variation in the arms. And if you need to sit up on a block in this one to bring your hips a little bit higher, take some of the pressure out of your hips or knees, or simply just trust that you're going to have one knee quite a bit higher. Or you can also do this sitting cross-legged. So lots of options in this Gomukhasana legs. Our arm position on this one, I'll invite you to take your arms nice and wide. And on an exhale, right arm underneath the left. So we're going to take eagle arms in our Gomukhasana. The first option is to hug yourself, taking your hands to opposite shoulders. If you're wanting full eagle arms, we cross at the forearms as well, and maybe palms come to touch. So anything in between there. And as you lift your elbows just a bit here, you might notice that your vision is blocked, that there's a little obstacle, a little obstruction, maybe a little darkness. In fact, when we come into this in standing, it really requires, especially in the balance structure of eagle pose, that you use your other senses, proprioceptive senses, the broadening of your visual span of awareness, your vestibular system. And then from here, an invitation not only to release your arms, but to free your legs. You can send them out in front of you. And just for a moment, let your arms be free. You can shake them out. You can shake out your legs. You can wiggle them up and down or side to side. Let the light into all of those joints that just found compression. And we'll free up our left leg here to start, making circles around your left ankle in one direction and the other way, and your shin and the other way, and nice big hip circles. in each direction. And deer pose, taking left leg back and behind, left knee, right foot, and then some very gentle twisting movement toward the right. Left hand can stay grounded or lifting upward. Mm. Good. And as we unwind from that shape, the invitation is to take your left leg up and around into that stack kneed Gomukhasana. And because most of us have some unevenness, some asymmetries in our hips and in our bodies, you might notice that one side feels really different from the other, easier, harder, tighter, or more accepting of the shape. You can flex your feet if you like, finding a block if you like, or sitting cross-legged. And then our arm variation this side, opening your wings. And exhale left under right. Either a hug, you can always stay with the hug, or crossing into eagle arms. And a few breaths here. Really sensing that compression in many of the major joints of your body. You might sense this in hips, knees, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Notice how when we get into dark or tight spaces, that the breath can really become your best friend. Sensing space even in the contraction. And then allowing everything to open, releasing your legs, maybe shaking them out, shaking out your arms. Wiggle, finding freedom again. Gorgeous. And then from here, I'm turning to the side for this next transition. And I'll invite you to find a little bit of deer side to side. Again, a lot of you who are regulars for my classes, these shapes become familiar over time, right? So letting yourself just flow a little, one side and the other. Hands might stay on the earth. You might reach one arm overhead. And you know it's coming. You might find this hands-free. Look, Ma, no hands. And I can say that because Mom's taken the class. So have fun with it, whatever your version might be. Good. And we're going to stick with something similar, but take it all the way down to your back. So when you come down to center, again, feet nice and wide, and just let your knees roll from one side to the other. It's like a puppy dog rolling in the grass. You can find a little morning or evening stretch depending on your time of day. And knowing that rhythmically we have different needs at different times of day. So you might take this super duper slow if it's heading towards evening, or a little bit more rapidly if you're waking up for the day. Right. And then through to center once again. This time, ankles, feet kind of in line with your hips. So we're preparing for a flowing bridge. Okay, a floating bridge perhaps. And so as you press into your feet, beginning to lift your hips, if you'd like, your arms come along for the ride up overhead, and exhale down to your sides as your hips lower. And it's your rhythm, your range of motion, your pace. Gorgeous. One more like that. Beautiful. And from here, we'll come into a little bit of core strengthening. Our first one is an invitation to take right thigh over left once again, and then lifting both feet off the floor. We're in a little bit of an eagle leg, if you want to think about it that way. And hands behind the head is my preferred version of this. You could take this with eagle arms, right arm under left, but I find it kind of supportive to hold the head here. So allowing yourself to find your variation. And on an exhale, we draw elbows and knees together. And on an inhale, we let them widen apart. And you get to find that range of motion, especially on the inhale pattern. The further away your feet go, the more challenge for your core. You can even send your heels down towards the earth. Again, an added challenge. So we inhale, open, exhale to close. A few more like that. Good. Lowering down your upper body, legs staying as they are. I'll invite you to take left hand against your right knee, right hand on top, and then pressing your knees into your hands, pressing your hands into your knees, finding a little bit of a isometric hold, an oppositional engagement, maybe a little shake, and then let that go. And we're switching sides. Left leg over right, hands behind your head if you're choosing this variation, and exhale to center, contracting everything, and inhale to broaden. And finding your rhythm with the movement and the breath, and feeling into that core strengthening. We have some balance shapes in our standing flow today, and getting the core on board will be supportive. Good. Just two more. And then lowering down through your upper body, using right hand against left knee, left hand on top, and pressing knees into hand, hands pressing back. Isometric hold. Feeling everything build a little bit of heat, tapas, energy, and then let it go. Whew, good. From here, we're going to go right into just a little bit more core, into cross lateral bicycle, sit-ups, right elbow, left knee, sending right leg long and switching sides. Inhale, center, exhale to each side, and your pace. Some of you might have seen my Facebook post last night. We went on a bicycle ride to see lights decorating houses in a local neighborhood. About 30 decorated, lit up bikes. It was pretty fun. So you might be on a little cruiser ride and let yourself find some light out there. Good. And last little bit here of taking the feet together, knees wide, elbows to knees, greet each other. Inhale, we expand. Last little bit. We're going to tune into these same core muscles when we get into our standing flow. So really let yourself orient towards this feeling now. One more here. That's it. And then let it go. Taking hands behind your knees, a few rock and rolls on your spine, and eventually up and over your shins into a tabletop. And here's a lovely opportunity to find some free flow movement. Cat and cow, maybe forward and back, maybe even a little bit of a cobra or up dog, breathing into that core line that we just woke up. Any movements here that let you continue to greet and say hello to your body. Finding all the places that are ready to call in the light. Ah, good. Okay. From here, I have an invitation. Everything lives as an invitation in these practices. So you can opt in, you can opt out. Option one is to find a little bit of movement from side to side, nice and slow. Feeling into that C curve of your body, contracting one side, inhale through center, contracting the other side. Option two is to take that a little bit more rapidly. So kind of like what we were doing earlier with the alternate nostril pranayama, you might bring in a little bit more of that excitement in this shape, okay? So if you want to do that, you can play even with lifting the opposite foot. So if I'm curling to the left, my right foot lifts, I say hello with my gaze. Inhale, center, saying hello, and then it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, inhale, center. Exhale, I'll invite you to press back for a moment into child's pose, receiving, integrating, grounding. We're going to open up through the windows of the heart again, even here. And possibly, if it feels right, walking your hands to the right side of your mat, sinking your left hip a little further down as you reach your left fingertips a little more forward. Years ago, one of my yoga teachers would say that you cannot be depressed if you open up your armpits. Now, I don't know that that's so totally medically true, but there is something quite joyful about opening up through the armpit. Okay, and let's go ahead and take it to side two, walking your hands off to the left side of your mat. A little bit of a stretch in your right fingers, a grounding in your right hip. Mm. And then back through to center. Good. And I'll invite you to come up through to table once again. Ah. Good. And then from tabletop, I'll invite you to curl your toes under and just find a little bit of a lift of your knees. So we're in a transitional shape toward downward facing dog. Letting yourself just feel this in your body for a moment, and then allowing yourself to slowly lengthen through your spine, through your legs. Nice slow transition, downward facing dog. And then once you arrive in that shape, maybe always arriving, but allowing yourself to walk it out, greet it just like you would any other shape in your body. Make it yours. Explore how your body arrives here today. It could be different than any other day. Mm. Sensing and feeling ankles, calf muscles, hamstrings, hips. It can feel nice if you'd like to widen your feet towards the edges of your mat, to shorten your stance, walking your hands just a little closer to your feet. And then maybe you take a little twist under your body, right hand, left ankle, gaze through the window here. And switching that out. Right hand plants, left hand reaches around. Little twist under your body. And then re-lengthen back out, downward dog. Another variation here is you can drop your heels one side and then the other. A little twisting. Bending your knees if you like. Good. And then an invitation to take a nice walk forward toward your hands. And we'll find our way to standing, maybe a halfway lift, lengthen, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, I'll invite you to come all the way to standing. And exhale, here we are. New relationship to gravity. First time in this practice, lifted, standing. You might orient yourself here, take a look around, or simply sense and feel what's present for you in this shape. Good. From here, I'm going to invite us into our first standing balance. As I mentioned, we'll have some standing balance play in our flow today. And our first one will be standing eagle. So allowing yourself to bend through your knees. And I like to come into this one legs first. So I'm going to draw right leg out, up and over, either single or double wrap. You can always kickstand. You can always use a wall or a chair for balance. And then lifting arms, exhale, right arm under, and maybe the hug or the cross of the arms. If you're crossing the arms in front of your face, just like we did seated, sensing that we've got a little block for our vision, using peripheral vision and other sensory awareness, vestibular proprioception, breath. And then we're freeing ourselves out of this shape. I'll invite you to step it wide. Maybe lift up onto your toes. Maybe reach your arms outward. Five-pointed star up on your tippy toes, taking up all that space, that light. And then we'll bring it back into center. All right. Pausing for a moment between sides, sensing and feeling what's alive. And as we go into side two, bending your knees. This time it's left leg out, up and over, single double wrap kickstand, freeing your arms like wings. Exhale, left under right. Hug, double wrap, your variation. And our theme today, going into some of these compressions, contractions, trusting that the light can still come in. And then moving into the spaciousness. Maybe lifting up once again, heels off the ground, up onto your balls of your feet, arms wide. We open up all the places that went into compression. And exhale. Wiggle it out. Let it go. Good. From here, I'll invite you to take just a slightly wider than hip width stance. Palms to heart center. And we'll find our circle of joy arms here. Inhale. Exhale, pressing your palms forward. Inhale, interlaced hands up above. Exhale, hands behind your back, clasped. Inhale, I think I'm getting the breath correct here. We're going to lift our hearts. Exhale, this time forward fold, Yogi Mudra. Free breath here, two. Inhaling here. Exhale, releasing hands by way of sacrum to the earth, finding a halfway lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, let's come up to standing. I'll see if I can clarify the breathing a little bit more on this round. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, inhale here. Exhale, pressing clasped hands forward. Inhale, overhead. Exhale to your sacrum. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale here. Exhale, releasing your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing. Exhale to heart center. Beautiful. I'm going to take this forward facing front of mat. We're going to start out just as we began. Inhale here. Exhale, pressing palms forward. Inhale, palms lift. Exhale to sacrum. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, releasing hands, halfway lift. Exhale, planting hands, stepping back. And inhale here. Invitation is to exhale, knees, chest, chin to the earth. And then finding some rolling cobras with your breath here. And making this yours, a beautiful chance to slow it down. You get to decide if you want any weight at all in your hands, how much lift of your heart, and the rhythm of the pace. One more here. And then transitioning to downward dog, I'll invite through table, maybe even a little pause here in a child's before making your way to downward facing dog. Familiar shape, we've been here, and a great opportunity to check in. What's changing throughout the practice as we return to this home base? And then your way to the front of the mat. You can walk, saunter, hop, however you'd like to get there. And finding a halfway lift once again. And exhale, folding in. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale, palms to heart center. Pausing for a breath. Recalibrating, sensing heartbeat, flow, movement. Maybe returning to your intention, what you're calling in, what you are letting go of to create more space for joy, for light. Inhale here. Exhale, clasping hands, pressing forward. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands behind. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Releasing hands, inhale halfway. Exhale, planting hands, stepping back. And your choice, lowering to the earth for cobra, maybe lowering down halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. We meet in downward facing dog, and knowing you can always skip all of the above, just stepping right back. From this downward facing dog, I will invite you to send your right leg back for a moment. And then gazing forward, exhaling right leg forward and through into a low lunge. You can always lower your left knee, use your hands, help your right foot make its way to the front. And then I love blocks here. I love my go-go gadget arms. You can make these practices your own so they're comfortable for you, but a few breaths greeting your legs in this first lunge shape. You can come in and out. You might keep left leg lifted or lowered. And you might even want to explore some variations in that lunge. You can reach around right hand to left foot, or at least in that direction. But truly, everything here is your open intuitive flow. So there is no goal to achieve, no shape that we're attempting to create. It's all guided by sensation, guided by the light and the way our bodies will naturally arc to find it. Mm, just like the trees and the flowers arcing toward the sun. I'll guide a little bit here, inviting you to take a low lunge and this time grounding your left heel. Maybe walking hands to the inside of your right foot and then off the mat. We did this last week, so it may be familiar for some of you who are regulars. It's a downward dog in your leg, excuse me, it's a warrior two in your legs and a downward dog in the upper body. So we've got a nice long spine and a grounded position in the legs. We'll call this ostrich. And you can just let your head hang heavy, like it's burying itself in the sand. Let it go there. Hmm. And then from here, I'll invite you to walk yourself back around towards your right leg, maybe right hand towards block, and coming into from the ground up an extended side angle shape. And you can start out, if you like, left hand on left hip, just finding a little bit of a opening in this side body. And if being down towards the block feels like too deep into this, you can lift up with forearm on top of your right thigh. You can decrease the bend in your right leg. So really, again, know there's lots of options here, and you might reach left arm straight up towards the ceiling or towards the crown of your head. You can gaze down to the side, up. You might even choose to play a little bit, moving towards Trikonasana from the ground up. So we're working towards lengthening through that right leg, and you can take your block a little higher if you like. And you don't have to lock out through any joints. In fact, I recommend that you don't. It's nice to keep a little bit of softness in that right knee in particular. Maybe left arm reaches overhead, or just find some exploratory movements here. Good. And then whoa, descending towards the earth. Right foot can step back to meet the left. Downward dog again, walking it out. And we find all of that on side two, lifting through left leg, simply to draw forward into that free form, low lunge exploration. Getting to know what side two holds for you can be quite different, making space. Maybe you took a little bit of that quadricep opener, dragon lunge. And then eventually I'll guide you if you choose to join into ostrich on this side. So as we come from this low lunge, we now descend right heel. We've got that warrior two base. And then walking hands off to the right, long through your spine, through your arms, head heavy. Releasing through the muscles of your jaw, your neck, shoulders. Voice, let something go, sigh it out. Ah. Hmm. And then walking hands back in toward your left leg, maybe a block underneath your left hand. And then progressing into an extended side angle, maybe hand on your right hip. Again, then we've got those warrior two legs. Maybe your arm finds a variation as well. Knowing you can always lift up a little higher. Take some of the intensity down. And you might take this into some variation of trikonasana, of triangle, lengthening through left leg. Maybe block lifts up to support you a little higher. You might find some variations with your right arm. And when you feel complete, we descend once again, meeting in downward facing dog. Hmm. And our next transition is back to the front of the mat. You get to decide how you want to get there. Walk, step, pounce. And as you arrive, finding a halfway lift and a fold. And we'll lengthen all the way up to standing. Maybe you fix your clothes a little. It's up to you. And just arrive for a moment. We've got one more standing balance, playful flow. Before we go into that, just finding yourself, wiggling or stillness, totally up to you. Arriving with what is. Great opportunity to ask yourself, am I up for one more standing balancy flow? Or am I ready to go right into a shavasana and a resting and a restorative or some floor movement, which we'll join you in a little bit. So I'll trust that you know what's right for you. I'm going to reorient towards front of my mat, and we're going to start out in eagle. In our first eagle, I'm going to invite you as you bend your knees, that right leg is going to be your standing leg, and left leg is going to come out, up and around on top of right. And inhale, we can lift through our arms, and exhale, left arm underneath right. And here we've arrived. Eagle. Inhaling here, using all of the available senses to you. And exhale. Inhale, lifting through your left leg. So we've got an eagle standing one leg. Exhale into airplane with your eagle arms. Tricky. Tricky. If you come on out, if you fall on out, floor is not that far, you will be okay. Slowly descending left foot, eagle armed, crescent lunge. So this too is a balancey shape. Take your time, widen your stance. Maybe you lift your elbows on an inhale here. Exhale, we release the arms. Airplane arms back. Inhale, five-pointed star. We've been here. Exhale, horse. Nice. Inhale here. Exhale, clasping hands, pressing forward. Inhale overhead. Exhale behind. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, turn your feet forward, fold Yogi Mudra. And you can keep your arms as they are. If that feels right, you can just send hands to the earth if you prefer. And a few breaths. On an exhale, sending hands by way of sacrum down to earth. Inhale halfway. Exhale. Inhale all the way back to standing five-pointed star. And exhale, turning towards your left foot. For me, this is the back of my mat. And finding your way into crescent. Exhale, airplane arms, just sending your arms back. Inhale back through crescent. Exhale, right arm underneath the left. Eagle arms. Inhale, lifting through your elbows. Exhale, leaning forward, progressing through a balance shape, eagle-armed airplane. Very slowly, lifting yourself forward as right leg comes up, around, and over. Here you are, eagle. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, right leg to lift. Exhale, we come back the way that we arrived, through airplane with eagle arms. Slowly descending, right toes to the earth. Inhale, eagle-armed crescent, lifting your elbows. Exhale, unwind your arms, sending your hands back. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, horse. You're doing great. Inhale here. Exhale, pressing palms. Inhale, sweeping arms. Exhale, hands to clasp. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, turning feet forward, forward fold. Inhale here. Exhale, receive. Your choice, hands stay clasped or you release. Head heavy. Inhale. Exhale, now releasing the hands if they're still clasped. Inhale, halfway. Exhale here. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale. Inhale, we turn toward the right. Here we are, crescent lunge. Exhale, sweeping arms back. Inhale, lifting through crescent. Exhale, left arm under right. Inhale, lifting your elbows. Exhale, moving forward. Here we are. Eagle armed airplane. Inhale, slowly lifting all the way up and descending into eagle. Last time here. One more breath. And then release it. Let it all go. Nice job. Shake it out. Shake anything out, right? Whatever is standing between you and your light, let that go. Ooh, the light that gets to pass through, that we reach for, that has a fondness for the body. All right. I'm going to invite a very simple transition onto the earth, onto the earth. And coming into seated, eventually I'll invite you to bring a block with you as you come down onto your back. Our initial invitation as you make your way down to your back is just like we did earlier when we were supine, just finding a little bit of free form. We've had a lot of movement thus far, and you might notice that there's a different calling this second time that we arrive down on our backs. Maybe a heaviness or a surrender to gravity begins to call forward. A welcoming of that. And your sensations are your guide. You might choose to come into a little bit of a hip stretch. We had a lot of that earlier with our Gomukhasana and our eagle today, but you might want a little bit of a supine figure four. If that's a yes, finding that. One side and the other. Hmm. You might want a little more spinal movement, allowing yourself to greet bridge, maybe with flowing arms or a more static hold. Totally up to you. Maybe you clasp hands under your sacrum. And what's beautiful about these final moments on your mat and this free form flow is that there are so many shapes available, ones that have never been given a Sanskrit yoga name, right? But nonetheless, equally valid, equally beneficial, because it's your light, your body, your cells calling for that shape. Let yourself find it. Be nourished right there. Mm. And the final guided shape that I will invite you into today is a legs up the wall, which is where our block now comes in handy. I'll invite you to take that block, lowest setting, under your sacrum. And I'm going to do this in the center of the room, but you might slide literally up to the wall and take your legs up a wall. Always a nice option here. And you can draw one knee in and then the other, and maybe sending your legs upward. And because this is a restorative shape, we are not trying to create any perfections in alignment. You can let your knees be soft, hips heavy. And we are reversing the flow of gravity. Your heart doesn't have to work quite so hard in this shape to send blood where it needs to go, to your brain, to your digestive organs. Sometimes in the Yin tradition, this shape is referred to as waterfall, and I absolutely love that image of the waterfall descending from feet down your legs, the belly, the receiving pool, and the soft descent to your heart. Mm. Shoulders can soften, throat receives, jaw soft. Mm. Maybe you hum or let your voice go, sigh. Soften through your tongue, your eyes. Good. Another few breaths here, softening, receiving, knowing if you feel called to shift into a traditional shavasana. That's your body's wisdom, and you go where you need to go. You are never bound to a shape here. And if you feel called to come out of your resting shape, whichever you've chosen, and return eventually to seated, I have one more pranayama to close today's practice. So you might choose that, and you might say, I'll catch that one later. It's up to you. And if you've removed the block and descended your legs, maybe a little cat stretch side to side, puppy dog, whatever you want to call it. And you might roll to one side. Pause there. And then pressing up to sitting. Maybe sitting on a block if you like. I'll come just a little closer for this final pranayama. And this breath is called the breath of light. It involves receiving 7 sips of air. And we've done this in a previous class. Some of you may have done it before. If it's totally new to you, we're going to inhale those sips of air through the mouth, like that. And you can imagine, if you'd like, that you're breathing in light to all 7 chakras. So you can imagine breathing into the root, second chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and then we exhale through the nose. And you can waterfall that back down. So We'll do 3 rounds of this together. Inhaling. Exhale through your nose. Inhale, sips. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then resting, perhaps palm in palm, receiving. As you continue to rest and receive, I will return us to our poem for today. How the Light Comes by Janet Richardson. I cannot tell you how the light comes. What I know is that it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten or in peril or in pain, that it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way toward flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth from the eye, the hand, the heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does. That it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that unfolds you, that enfolds you. Though it may seem long ages in coming or arrive in a shape you did not foresee. And so may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces to let it find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc it makes. May we open and open more and open still to the blessed light that comes. Thank you so very, very much from the light within me. Deep gratitude and bow to the light within you. Namaste.